Could the Memphis Grizzlies be the most under-the-radar, sneaky good team in the NBA? Forget about Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. for a second. For the last few seasons, the Grizzlies have been slowly and quietly drafting, signing, and trading for low-value players and turning them into really established guys. Back in the 2017 draft, they snagged Dillon Brooks with the 45th pick. He would be a lotto pick in a redraft. He just had his best season as a pro and is carving out a niche as a 3-and-D kind of player. Then last offseason, they traded Mike Conley for a collection of players and picks, with part of that haul being then rookie Grayson Allen and a late first-round pick that turned into Brandon Clarke. In his first year with the Grizzlies, Allen showed his value as a slasher and solid three-point shooter, and Brandon Clarke just finished near the top in Rookie of the Year voting and has quickly solidified himself as a key piece to the Grizzlies' future. Then you've got De'Anthony Melton. He was also part of that Mike Conley trade, but in a different way. The Grizzlies used one of the assets from that deal to trade for Melton, and he was drafted in the 40s of the 2018 draft by the Suns. And Phoenix didn't have any idea what to do with the 6'2 combo guard, but with the Grizzlies, he has become a defensive menace with a rebounding rate more in line with some NBA small forwards. In fact, he is about to get paid this offseason. And I haven't even talked about Jontay Porter or John Konchar. Both were players the Grizzlies signed. Konchar was signed to a two-way deal and Porter as an undrafted free agent. Konchar has proven to be a do-it-all Swiss Army knife kind of player that will likely be signed to the main roster next year. Jontay Porter is the younger brother of Denver's Michael Porter Jr., and Jontay was once a highly touted first-rounder but fell off draft boards due to an ACL injury in college. And if you know Jontay's game and paid any attention to what Michael Porter Jr. was doing in the playoffs, then there's a good chance the Grizzlies may have gotten another steal with the younger brother. And guys, that's the subject of today's video. I'm looking at where the Grizzlies will be picking in the upcoming draft and giving you some players the team should be looking at. Could they end up getting another steal and shock the NBA world once again? Thanks for tuning in to the channel today. My name is Troy. If you enjoy basketball like I do, hit that like button so YouTube will recommend this content to other people. And especially if you're a huge Grizz fan like me, be sure and click that button. Also, if it's your first time here and you haven't already, be sure to hit subscribe. I do NBA videos several times a week, so if you're looking for quality and consistent content, then this is the channel for you. If you've been a fan of this channel for a while, then you know the Grizzlies, man, they are my team. I've been a fan of them ever since they came to Memphis in 2001. And if being a small market team that all the big market fans dump on isn't bad enough, man, we had years, and I mean years, of terrible draft picks in the lottery, in the first round, in the second round, just awful. And yeah, sure, there were some good picks like Pau Gasol and Shane Battier back in the day, or Mike Conley that turned out to be a pretty good pick in hindsight. But then you had guys like Hasheem Thabeet and Xavier Henry and Wade Baldwin, just terrible picks. But over the last couple of years, as new management has slowly started to have more control, the picks, and especially later picks, have gotten so much better. And the Grizzlies are aiming to repeat that this year. They've only got one pick in the 2020 draft. That pick is slotted at number 40. So who are some players that would be available for the Grizzlies at that spot? And who might they consider? Some of what I'm about to say is courtesy of NBADraftRoom.com, so check them out for awesome scouting reports. The first guy I'm going to talk about is Isaiah Joe. He is a two-guard who played at the University of Arkansas, and he is a three-point shooter all day, every day, and that's what he's going to be asked to do at the next level. And that's good because he shot 76% of his shots from three, over 10 attempts per game, which was third in the country. So that sheer volume makes him an asset, even if he isn't hitting the shots all the time. His role in the NBA projects to be a three-point specialist, and his ability to shoot off the dribble can make him a lethal weapon at the next level. He was an elite pull-up shooter in college, ranking in the 97th percentile this season. So if that translates to the NBA, you're looking at somebody who could become a microwave scorer off the bench. And his let-it-fly mentality really embodies Grizzlies coach Taylor Jenkins and the offense that he's trying to instill in the team. Plus, his ability to space the floor and shoot a three as soon as he catches the pass fits really well next to Ja Morant. The Grizz were 25th in the NBA in made threes per game last season, and Isaiah Joe fills a need. Another guy that might be available at pick number 40 is Jameis Ramsey. He's a one-and-done player from Texas Tech. So with his age, his physical profile, and his enticing scoring arsenal, he's going to be an interesting draft prospect to follow. He is an impact player as soon as he steps on the floor. He plays with great energy. He hustles a lot, always seems to be around the ball. He can score in transition, scores in the open floor. He can finish above the rim. He can hit the three, over 40% from three in college. So he really brings it on the defensive end too and can guard multiple positions. Ramsey is a guy that you can slot right next to Ja Morant in the backcourt. He'd run the floor well while also spacing the floor. Cassius Stanley, freshman from Duke, is an interesting choice as well. He is an elite-level athlete with big upside. He can jump through the roof. Beast of an athlete. I'm talking dunk contest material with some of these dunks that he throws down. He's becoming a more disciplined defender, and then the athletic ability I already mentioned gives him a clear advantage over many of the guys that he faces. He also uses his quickness to get into the lane, draw defenders, then does a good job of finding the open man. And this is a guy who plays to win. He has good competitive fire, seems to have a drive to be one of the great players, and at 20 years old, his age fits with the Grizzlies' timeline. I also think a reason Stanley could be the pick is this front office loves guys from Duke. The lead decision maker with the franchise, he's a Duke guy. He traded for Grayson Allen. He signed Tyus Jones. He traded for Justice Winslow. All Duke players. Cassius Stanley could be the next one. Let me talk about Killian Tillie, who is a senior from Gonzaga. Stretch four with a silky, smooth release. He's got the height to shoot over the defense and is really, really accurate from downtown. Near 7 feet and can shoot. Think Frank Kaminsky or Davis Bertans. Tillie has got touch around the rim. He works hard on the glass. His rebounding still may be a little subpar for somebody of his size, but what I really like about him is his talent as a passer and a playmaker. And if not for a list of injuries that really hurt Killian Tillie's value, I think he would be a surefire first rounder. He has that kind of talent. I would assume the Grizzlies have Tillie on their radar, at least to some extent, because he played with Brandon Clarke last year. And when they were scouting Clarke, they saw what Tillie could do. They saw what he could bring to the Grizzlies. Finally, Paul Reed from DePaul. Paul from DePaul, that's what I call him. He is an intriguing power forward prospect who's got a really good frame, excellent length, high motor. Reed gets off the floor well. He's a very good shot blocker. He has quick instincts and good timing, moves his feet well, and can guard space with his quick hands, and has a knack for getting deflections. He's efficient too, with good shot selection, doesn't try to do more than what he knows he can do on the floor, does a good job of rolling to the rim, he can finish around the hoop. Questions about him are along the lines of, why was his DePaul team so bad? They were 16-16. But I think it was likely one of those cases of him being asked to do everything for that team. He might duplicate some of what you have already with Brandon Clarke and Jaren Jackson Jr., but if you see him as the best talent on the board, then I think you got to make the move to pick him. And there you have it with today's edition of the Half Court Report. Make sure you let me know in the comments who you like with the Grizzlies and their 40th pick. And if you're a Grizz fan, let me know. I expect all Grizz fans watching this video to comment something. Come on, you got to. While you're here, be sure to drop a like on this video and hit subscribe. This channel is blowing up. We just passed 9,000 subscribers. We're on the road to 10K. We got to keep it that way. Let's keep going up with it. Thanks everybody for watching. This is Troy with the Half Court Report, and I'll see you next time.